Brad Ketchum. I'm one of the lead meteorologists at the National Weather Service here in Wichita, Kansas. When it comes to South Central Kansas, we're in a prime location for severe weather and potentially supercells that produce tornadoes.
That's because in this part of the country, there's a convergence of low-level warm and humid air from the Gulf of Mexico, along with drier air that comes out of the west. Now, that dry air initially suppresses thunderstorms until eventually so much pressure builds up that thunderstorms punch up through the atmosphere, becomes incredibly unstable, and that's what leads to the development of catastrophic storms.
I grew up in Udall, Kansas. In the mid-50s, there was an absolutely horrific F5 tornado.
The tornado that hit Udall, Kansas was actually the second F5 that day, and F5s and EF5s are extremely rare, so to get two in one day is extraordinary. Unfortunately, another F5 hit that area. This time it was in 1991, and this was about 25 miles north of Udall in Andover, Kansas.
The 91 tornado was formed from a cyclic supercell, or a classic supercell, and it turned into a 3/4 mile wide tornado, kind of a wedge tornado.
The 91 Andover tornado, as it's called, started over in South Wichita, went through McConnell Air Force Base. As it started east, it picked up power, and by the time it got to Andover, it was an absolute gigantic monster.
My name is Earl Duke Evans. In 1991, I filmed an Andover tornado.
We had played golf that morning in the Kansas cancer tournament. Nobody anticipated what we were going to see that afternoon. He told us we needed to go in the basement because a very bad storm was coming and the winds were going to be bad. So we went downstairs, got in a cupboard. I was in the basement. Duke was on the balcony filming it. If it had come straight, it would have taken out that building where we were at.
The tornado was a mile away. I started filming it and I had it real steady, so it made it very good shots. They were the only ones that were very vivid on it.
The 1991 tornado was an F5 with winds estimated at 265 miles per hour. That level of wind just destroys anything in its path. And in the video that Duke Evans shot, you can really see that power. More than 300 homes and businesses were destroyed by that storm. Duke's video became iconic as broadcasters around the country and the world showed it, and it exposed the incredible power of an F5 tornado.
It was on television that night, and we saw devastation that I've never seen in my life. Many people said, if there's anybody alive out there, it's going to be amazing.
Unfortunately, as it shoot through the city of Andover, it ended up right in the mobile home park. And in the mobile home park, there were multiple lives lost.
Andover only had a single warning siren at the time, and that failed. In addition, there was only one shelter in town, and that contributed to the fact that 17 people lost their lives in that storm. Unfortunately, Andover is in a prime spot for tornado activity, and 31 years later, in April 2022, another violent tornado ripped